Welcome back to the show. Let's now talk about a former Prime Minister who is considered by some, not me, but some, to be among the best leaders this country has ever had.
Joining us to discuss the legacy of Harold Wilson and his brand new book titled Harold Wilson, the Winner, is the Shadow Secretary of State for International Trade, Nick Thomas-Symonds. Delighted you could be with us. Now, I want to know why you've written the book now. Do you see the similarities between the 60s and 70s politically with current day politics?
Well, good to join you and to have the chance to talk about Harold on your show. Well, when we talk about the similarities, and I was writing about currency crises, I didn't quite expect the government to show so starkly that there was a direct comparison after the events we've seen in recent days. But clearly there are huge lessons from Harold's time. It's both for the Labour Party. Harold won 4 general elections. Of course, that's a record for any Labour Party leader. And of course, we've lost the last 4. So there are lessons for the Labour Party about winning elections. But there's also Harold's legacy to the country, which I think is so important. The huge social reforms that have endured that I don't think that his governments have had the credit that they deserve for.
Now, of course, you talked about the currency situation. Harold Wilson's famous for his pound in your pocket comment, which he got widely condemned for. What lesson would you think that the current Prime Minister could learn from what Harold Wilson went through at that time over the currency?
Well, I think certainly that the communication lesson ought to have been learned, Philip. I'm not sure that communication lesson has been learned in recent days. But the one thing I really do think we can pick up from Harold Wilson is that at a time of economic turmoil, he did still manage to effect a remarkable set of changes. So think the abolition of capital punishment, abolition of corporal punishment, the Sexual Offences Act of 1967, which legalised homosexuality. Before that, people couldn't love who they wanted to. They feared that knock on the door from the police, or they feared being blackmailed. The Abortion Act, of course, which took away the spectre of backstreet abortions. The Equal Pay Act, which transformed the position of women in the workplace. And in his 1974-76 government, which was either without a majority or with a very small one, created what is still the basis of our modern-day employment laws, the Health and Safety at Work Act, the Employment Protection Act that introduced that paid statutory maternity leave, or ACAS, the conciliation body, all of which still exists. And when I look at prime ministers and governments in our history, I look at what the subsequent governments did, particularly of different parties. And the truth is that all subsequent governments left that legacy entirely undisturbed.